Hey folks, I'm out on my 99 county tour, and through Facebook we have a number of questions that have come in from followers. So we're going to go through some of those questions here today. So first we have from Don. He says, please keep fighting for renewable energy for Iowans. It should be a top priority, and thanks for your service. Well, thanks so much, Don. This is a really important topic for me. Renewable energy, number one, whether it's our renewable fuels like ethanol and biodiesel, or whether it's our great wind energy out across the state of Iowa. Matter of fact, just this morning I visited a solar farm. So yes, I will keep fighting for those renewable energy sources. Great way to keep a clean and healthy environment and promote our natural resources right here in the great state of Iowa. All right, our next question comes from Danny. What are the top 5 issues in your eyes, and what we're facing as a nation, and what we're doing about these issues? And so there are so many important issues, both at the state and the federal level. I would say here in Iowa, some of those top issues do include healthcare costs. We want to make sure that we are lowering those costs for our Iowans. Some specifics could include prescription drugs as well. We're working on a number of those issues right now in the United States Senate. Another issue, renewable fuels, and making sure that we are supporting ethanol and biodiesel. So continuing to push for the biodiesel tax credit, and when it comes to our great ethanol, making sure that the president really understands how important this is for Iowa farmers, Midwest farmers, and our ethanol producers. It also provides that octane that the oil industry needs in their fuel products. So just continuing to push for those issues with those renewable fuels like ethanol and biodiesel. Of course, the economy, making sure that the economy is strong, and where we have seen great success with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, there's always more that we can do, and I would love to see some of those tax cuts for individuals and hardworking folks, making sure that those remain permanent. The farm economy is always very important in supporting agriculture, and we've been able to do that through the recent 2018 Farm Bill reauthorization, where I had a number of measures that were included in that, supporting our great Iowa farmers and spin-off industry, our livestock producers. And then finally, one of the big issues we talk about in Iowa is trade, and that ties right back into agriculture and manufacturing. Right now we have the U.S., Mexico, and Canada agreement. I am fully supportive of that bill. We do need the House to move on it, so I'd encourage you to reach out to the House members, encourage their support, ask them to go to Speaker Pelosi and say, Madam Speaker, we need to move on this bill. But trade is very important. We'll continue working with the President and the administration on China as well. So those are 5 top issues. Certainly there are a lot of issues out there, and I'm working hard to make sure Iowa's voice is represented. Hey, next question. Gerald is asking, long question, but I'll paraphrase it. Gerald's asking what can be done basically about the phone scams that are out there, and I have been a co-sponsor on a bill that will address some of these phone scams. A lot of us get calls on our cell phones. I get them all the time, and I never recognize the numbers. So what we are trying to do is increase those fines that can be placed on these people that are scamming out there. It is horrible, and we know there's a lot of really bad actors in this industry, and they do prey on the elderly or people who maybe are confused. I get a lot of calls about Medicare and other types of issues. So we want to make sure that, again, going back, reviewing the rules and regulations in place now, and as legislators, what we can do through actual legislation to get rid of these phone scammers out there. So folks, beware. If you have a number that comes up that you don't recognize, either don't answer it or be very cautious about the type of information that you are sharing with someone on the other end of that cell phone or landline. So we'll keep pushing to work for legislation and better regulations in that area. The next question we do have is from Cruz, and Cruz says, introduce a bill for term limits for Congress and Senate, or have one of your colleagues introduce the bill for a vote. And I do support term limits, Cruz, so thanks for asking about this. And I do believe, however, that if we are term limiting people that are elected by their voters, then I also think that we should place term limits on those Washington, D.C. bureaucrats that are in the federal agencies. Because you know what, Cruz? Those folks are not elected by constituents, and they often make decisions that probably the folks in our states wouldn't necessarily agree with. So I do think that if we are term limiting members of Congress, we should also take a look at the way we handle our federal level bureaucrats in those agencies as they are unelected, and maybe hold them to a certain number of years served in any one agency. So Cruz, thank you so much for the question. And to everyone, thanks for submitting the questions out there. This has been a lot of fun traveling on the 99 County Tour and engaging you through social media.